go and amplify it, right? But I would also, like he said earlier, like you kind of just have to get started and you can't overthink it. So you have to go into execution mode. And early on, I think where you're going to want to spend those resources, like, is testing, right? Trying out different audiences, doing research on those different audiences and trying to figure out how to connect with them. And then ultimately you'll find your vein and then you can edit down and amplify, edit down and amplify. And
would that be based off of the product you already have and finding your audience like that?
Ultimately, like just, even if, so you're starting from scratch or you have a product already?
No, we have some product already.
Yeah, so I would look at like who is buying your product now, right? Like age, male, female, whatever, whoever you're servicing. And then I would take an approach at like, how do you edit down the noise and amplify what's working, right?
Niche down in a little sense?
Yeah, like what kind of products do you sell?
So it's like really streetwear. So like we really
Curtail t-shirts, cut jeans.
Is there a certain type of person who buys that stuff? Is there a certain person who buys that stuff?
I would be that type of person. So
But like, have you guys identified your target demo? Like, yeah, I would spend time there, like figuring out, and then spend money on ads, and then like, because like when you go run ads, right, you're making content to reach those people specifically, and you're targeting on your ad a demo. And like a lot of people will do wrong is like, oh, I'm gonna start with Facebook ads, I'm gonna start raising a bunch of awareness, I'm gonna throw a party and just like make a bunch of noise. But at the end of the day, like, then there's just too many variables, right? So you just gotta hone in, and if you're trying to figure that out, I would look at your competition, and I would look at their analytics and who's buying their stuff, and then like really start to target that, right? So it's all about like testing these different audience sets and different types of content, and then amplifying that with ads or whatever, press.
How do you avoid from like, everyone wants to have like a street brand. There's a lot of those local homegrown people that are trying to start a brand. But I think in a lot of senses they prohibit themselves from getting bigger because they just are known for that local community, like in that area. Like how do you stay away from still, because I think you need to start with your local community and like go from there, but how do you kind of keep the gates of you still being able to expand farther like from there and just like not lock yourself down with your stuff?
Well, I think like if you're like, for me instance, right, it's like I could be the famous photographer video guy in my area, right? And then people in Colorado fucking like don't know shit about me. But do you know anybody in our area that's like a really good photographer or a video guy? Oh shit, well I know this dude, I follow him on Instagram. Now it's crazy to think that like I'm in this conversation between these two people that I have no connection to. Just through like one person follows me on Instagram, the other person has no idea, and they're just having this conversation. So, and then I get hired for the job, and it's like, I get to travel and do all these things. So I think that don't forget about where you came from, but don't be afraid to go somewhere else and just like start from the bottom there and just like connect with all the other people out there. Because you'll be in those circles. We just had this conversation, I think it was me and you, and it was like a lot of people coming into this industry, they think it's like this fucking big, right? But when you get into it, it's like, it's super small. Like you're literally like, one guy's like, hey, LRG, my brother, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I've been with LRG for like 6 years, dude. Like, and I just saw him out there and I was like, yeah, I've known Flex. And that's where I know it from, because now it clicks. I'm like, oh shit, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin D.
Delaney?
Yeah.
Kevin D.
Shout out
So
Kevin
I
Delaney.
know why I know this dude. But I don't know if that answers your question, but
Let me jump in real quick. If
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay. When I'm working with a brand, I'll say think globally. So I think local is important, but I'm like, for everyone here, like if you have an Instagram, like you can broadcast, like you could post whatever you want. I mean, you're not gonna look like L stuff, but I mean, or you could try. Yeah, you have a global audience. Frequently, brands will say, do I have to be in LA or New York to pop my brand off? I'm like, you're gonna move? You're gonna completely move? I'm like, first of all, if you got a job, don't quit your job and all. Don't get excited from a Visa commercial or something crazy, or you watched a movie, or like you saw Make in America or something like that. Because you know, like you can start wherever you're at and blow it up. You know what I mean? So I don't think you have. So it's good to serve locally, but like, you know, again, I love Trev talking about analytics because when you look at the power of that stuff, the power is that you can talk to the world, right? I mean, if someone goes viral overnight, you're not gonna be like, oh man, that's Joey from down on 10th Street over there. No, it's like, oh, look at this kid, this is crazy, look at this kid dance. You don't think he can dance like that? It's something where it's like, I'm gonna share this. Like, it's funny, you know what I'm saying? Your question before that, what were you talking about? For the brand, I wanted to touch on that, the other question.
Where to spend most.
Okay, okay, a lot of times I'll tell a brand, everyone should have an extra Instagram right now. You don't have to post so much on it, but some of the testing, sort of what Travis is saying, like I'll have a brand say, what are the top 3 brands that you want to not be like, but think of the top 2 brands you want to hang your brand next to. Whether that's, whatever that is, 100, Live Fit, I don't care. Live Fit is only in a couple retail, but in any case, think of those brands. If you could find what their demo is when he was talking about the numbers, like, you know, male age, whatever, 16 to 38, like whatever that is. If you start looking clinically at who they're targeting, it'll start to begin to give you some guidelines. As far as product churn and what you put out, because I know everyone starts with like, you know, a brand will be like, we scraped our money to consult with you. We have like, between the partners, we have like $3,000. I'm like, okay, you gotta, this is like 1 bullet, 1 kill. You gotta be, everyone's a sniper, right? You're not gonna make it through this war because some of the brands that we work for, they hire 10 guys like me, right? They got like $1 million, so that's who you're up against, right? So 1 bullet, 1 kill, you gotta be very intentional about how you spend the money. In terms of product, yeah, it's testing. All the beginning is testing. So you put out it doesn't have to be a collection. Put out 1 piece, sell it out, sell out 2, make it again, change the colorway. Then start, because when we talk about testing, like real testing, like maybe some of the brands that we're used to working on the straight up like full rate consulting side, they have money to spend. So when we say testing, they have parameters, like their analytics is full. So it's like, oh, well, what did well last year? What did well last 6 months? What did well here? That sort of thing, right? Right, but for you guys, you're beginning, so everything's testing. Just make a hat, sell the hell out of it. Make a t-shirt, sell the hell out of it. Put the hat and the shirt together, then later you experiment maybe with more cut and sew. You can do cut and sew in the beginning. Right, but because you want to do that, so maybe surround it around printables and embroidery, so it's unique, but you can still sell, you know what I mean? Like, I talked about Logan Paul earlier, and you know, I'm not a big fan of the content, but his businessman-wise, his game is tight. Like, you probably never seen 2 pieces of Maverick. He makes tons of money selling it. You know what I mean? And so it's a different game though, because he has millions of followers. But the tools he used, you have the resource to use as well.
So for me, like I mentioned earlier, I have my women's line, which is Lacy Collection, but I also have another line, which is streetwear, and it's called Otis. So most people that wear my clothes are dancers. So honestly, I haven't spent anything on advertisement for that line, and it's doing really well. But what I do with the influencers that I work with, we'll do like an affiliate type of promotion. And so most of these people, they have like about 300,000 or more subscribers or followers, and then we'll do that trade for trade where they get a commission based off the sales. So that's another way that you can reach a larger audience without kind of spending too much money.
When you're using affiliate marketing, like when you come out with new products, when you're pricing it, do you take into consideration like I want to use affiliates, so I need to leave some room where I can discount this and still be profitable?
Yeah, that's really important, so you won't lose out on money.
You want to price higher so that you have a margin for not just affiliates or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? So like, let's say you pop it off and then out of nowhere, Tilly's is like, hey, do you guys maybe want to sell with us? You're going to be like, oh, hell yeah. Right? Because their test buys alone is going to be whatever, like 6 to 10 locations with volume. Right? So you want to price your stuff higher if you can, so that you just always have room, because now that's a wholesale buy. Does that make sense? You're not taking the whole margin. You're gonna wholesale them. So now you still have a cushion of money once you get, it's a little bit better to pop the champagne when you, right? Like you have, yeah. Okay.
This is for Brittany. You had mentioned there was media kits and like analyticals. What are good programs that we should be like focusing on and to see like the analyticals and media kits?
To generate a media kit?
Yeah.
For media kit, you can use Canvas. That's a good site to use to build your media kit. And then also Photoshop, but a lot of people don't have Photoshop, but Canvas is like a free site that you can use to build that media kit. And a lot of sites now, they'll show you analytics, so you probably got to go to your settings to see that. And then that's where you can kind of screenshot that and capture that in the media kit. But you can also reach out to me because we help a lot of brands one-on-one with building that media kit and everything else. Yeah.
Okay, question? Oh, let me take it here and then we'll come back to you.
So can you guys give an example of the time you guys were disruptive in your guys' market?
Yeah, I mean, so I was probably the first watch company at that price point, about $40, to really organically integrate into an MTV show. So I would say and I did a licensing deal with them, with Viacom, where I was like the official watch of MTV. So to get that opportunity, obviously it's a lot of luck, but just being present and seizing the moment, and taking that opportunity, that kind of catapulted us to the forefront of that watch point. And like he said, you get in and then it's not very big. Like the kids I went to school with started Movement, and they're a couple years younger than me, and they sell their company for $100 million. My roommate started Pura Vida. They sold their company for $130 million. So it's at the end of the day, it's a small industry, and if you can get your foot in and cause attention, then you're in. It's a small circle. So I had my luck by getting on that TV show, but super disruptive at the time. It was I'd say only people really doing that were G-Shock and Neff, and everyone was you can't start a watch company. You just can't do it, And I was cool. Well, see ya.
I once did some artwork with your brand. A few years ago, I used to be a designer for a shoe company. I guess you guys came through and they needed some artwork for e-commerce stuff.
Yeah.
This is my portfolio. I'll show you later.
You did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll show you.
amazing.
Crazy.
Real quick, just off of what he said though.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is gonna be on the video because I was laughing when you said that, and no disrespect, but he said luck. So I've worked with Trav. This is early too. This is probably right after college.
2011, yeah, right after college.
Which camera? He's a savage. He gets it for real. So I love how he's humble, and luck is a part of it. But Trav has a quality. I get to work with a lot of professionals, and so you kind of see. I'm a good gauge of people's personalities, and in my 40s, I know myself and what I can do. This man can do a lot of things that a lot of people can't. But part of what he said that you can take away, because you're not going to be what Trav does, but what Trav did say that you can't take away is you got to ante it up. He's good at knowing, he's I got to strike now. Now, how you strike is different, but he knows when to go and talk and be aggressive, and he's aggressive, right? So luck is part of it. It'll take you a part of the way. You got to go and get some of that. Because, he had to fight. Because you think, of course, people at Viacom are going to be like, wait, hold on. We work with G-Shock. They're a multi-million-dollar company. Who is this guy? Right? So, dude, I've seen it. He'll go into a meeting with people 4 times his age at the time, and he'll be like, oh, what questions do you have? Sorry, so I just want to add that.
Thanks for that.
Brittany, disruption, a time where you use or part of disruption?
I don't know. Because he said luck, but I said I was blessed. You feel me? Everything for me just kind of happened overnight because I don't know, I'm very strategic. I plan everything and just pray over it, and it always work out in my favor. But yeah, consistency and everything has just always worked out for me, and that has helped with my brand. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm the total opposite. I was the dude that, for instance, Jonas, rest in peace.
The founder of LRG?
Yeah, he came up to me. He was like, dude, you keep, he constantly give me clothes. all the time I'd hang out with the group, and one day he was just like, dude, what do you do? You know what I mean? And I was like, well, you know, I'm going to school for photos and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, he's like, we're actually looking for a photographer. And he's like, do you know how to shoot medium format? And I was like, yeah. He was like, can you shoot with strobes in the studio? I was like, yeah. And he asked me all these questions, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. And I didn't know any of that shit, right? In my head, I was like, yo, I need to take this opportunity. If I don't take it, somebody else is gonna take it. And I trusted myself enough to figure this shit out, right? I was like, there's equipment at school. I can go figure it out.
I'm gonna rent the school.
Yeah, it's like, boom, you know, figure all this stuff out. And then I was like, okay, by the time he hits me up, I'll figure it out. 2 weeks later, he fucking hits me up, and I'm not ready. And he's like, we're gonna do a shoot, and we're gonna do it with Kanye. And I was like, holy shit. So then I figured out, you know, like the camera, the lighting, even went to like my teachers and was like, dude, how do you use this shit? And he was like, I was like, I got this gig coming up and I need to figure this out.
I've never heard this.
Right?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So I showed up to the
Showed up to
office.
shoot Kanye.
Yeah, super early. And this is film. This isn't digital, right? This is film. I'm sitting here, like you take a photo with film, you have no idea what's gonna come out until you get it developed. I'm shooting media format, and the only thing that I have is a Polaroid test, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm popping film. Dude, I must have bought like, I don't know, 50
Costco
fucking
size.
sheets of Polaroids just testing. And I was shooting this box, and it was this box that was sitting on this chair, and I was just like waiting for an exposure. It's like too bright, too bright, too bright, too bright. It's like, oh shit, I'm seeing a box. Soon, 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 soon. And it's like, I got a box. The background is lit white. Nobody touched shit. Kanye walks in, we do the shoot. I'm sweating bullets. The thing goes into like development, and the film comes out, and we get this contact sheet, and I'm like, thank God everything came out. But after that, it's crazy because I can sit here and be like, oh, I did shit for Ace, I did shit for like John Legend, I did like all this and that. But it always goes back to like Kanye, I swear to God. Like I could use Kanye's name forever. I shot Kanye like over 15 years ago. like, yeah, it was a long time ago. But it started with him, and then it kind of just grew. And I was definitely a risk taker. But it was in a sense to where like, am I able to figure this out? I wasn't like, oh shit, like, yeah, I'll go do it. And it's like, damn, I don't know how to fly a plane. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, I do have access to certain things, and it's like, I will figure it out. Those were some of, like, that's some of the shit that I went through. It's like,
That's dope.
Cool. I'm gonna grab this question and then probably close it out. We can still talk after. I just want to respect everyone's time. Britt has to be somewhere as well. So what was that question?
Trav,
Yeah, please.
You talked about like quality product and then a big market. Like, what are some of the boxes that need to be checked when you're going into a market or something like that?
For your industry specifically, for clothing, man, I mean, it starts honestly with the body, like the cuts of the clothes, right? They gotta be like on trend, you know? And then you gotta like have quality fabrics that people wanna actually put on their body. And I think if you can like get a good fit with a quality product and then get it at a good price point and still have your margin, that's where you can actually win. Because then like someone's gonna get that, like, this was not that expensive and it looks good on me and it feels good. And you know, that's that makes them want to buy it again and tell their friends. And ultimately, style is what people are gonna look at to copy other people, like copy their style, you know what I mean? So if you can create clothing in a way that comes off like his pants do, with like, you know, obviously he has a tear in it and he's got some cuffs on it, but it's designed that way because it's stylish, and those are probably somewhat affordable pants because they're not like Balenciaga, and they're probably kind of soft because they're like already pre-washed denim, right? So like just to give an example of the clothing he's wearing, you want to make stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. I did want to touch on that for disruption. I think I actually don't have anything directly with that, but the last company where I was a brand director, so our owner, she's like a jillionaire. She owns like 7 brands. It's all like more like women's knits. So the men's brand I worked at was one that she just acquired, right? But she's a little bit more old school. So like for everyone, I would urge you to see what is trending and move towards that. So you might be a person in your company, and if you're ahead of it, first of all, you can't, if your marketing director who's your boss, like if they're not with it, I mean, you're not gonna convince them. They might be telling you to shut up or like, but if you see what's coming, you should be ahead of it. So maybe not for that company, but for your own brand, you should be ahead of it because things are changing. Like at the end of this session, there's been like 1,000 brands launched, right? So there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of change. The algorithm's always changing, yeah? And like, that's for everything, right? That's for everything. So just be on top of whatever those trends are. I want to thank Papo J's Vodka, and Elle wants to thank them too. I want to thank Track Life for being a part of it. I want to thank The Art of Streetwear. If you're watching this on a replay, thank you for watching it. Please hit all these people up. The social is up here. Thank you guys for being a part of it here. Thank you, Lindsay Desert, for playing the vibe. Thank you, Track Life Radio, at Track Life Radio, another sponsor. We're going to do it again. We'll let y'all know. But can we give it up for my awesome panel? Thanks, you guys. We still have vodka to taste if you haven't. The restroom is right there if you were holding out the whole time. And feel free to ask them questions. You should ask Britz questions real quick. I think she has to leave soon. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it.
It must be hard to be a rock star. Those lights in your
I need to follow you on Instagram.